Hello everyone, Vicki Achard here with Nature's Best Art. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be painting a hummingbird and delphinium flowers. And behind me is my pressed floral work, one of them, with the delphinium in it, and they're wonderful to press. Sometimes they come in the lighter color blue. These are actually the darker blue, and sometimes they come in purplish. And this is in actually my pressed floral work on my website. And so that was a lot of fun to do. And today will be the first time I will be painting delphinium flowers and the first time painting a hummingbird. So let's get started. Okay, the colors we're going to be using for the bird are phthalo blue, red shade, Prussian blue, Viridian Hue, that's by Reeves, Viridian Hue and Sap Green Mix and Sap Green. These are all M-gram paints, except for I'll tell you which ones are different. And we're going to be using some phthalo blue, Prussian blue, and burnt umber mix for the black on the bird. And we're also going to be trying LA Colors, the shimmering eyeshadow with vegetable glycerin. And then we're also going to be using azo yellow and quinacridone rose mix for the beak. And then for the flowers, we're going to be using a mix of Viridian Hue and phthalo blue. And for the leaves, we're going to be using a green gold, which is Winsor Newton, and Prussian blue mix. So we really have some beautiful colors to work with today. I'm really excited about that. Okay, I have my drawing, my transfer paper, and my watercolor card underneath. Now I'm going to be transferring my drawing onto my watercolor card. Well, I absolutely love delphinium, and I usually did have the purple and the blue in my garden, but they also come in white and pink. And what's really interesting is that larkspur looks like delphinium. And they come in real pretty colors too. And you see those buds on the top there that I'm drawing, and I think that's so interesting, the way the buds look on the delphinium. But now I guess from what I understand, larkspur is an annual and delphiniums are perennials. And if you are familiar with the difference between perennial and annual. Now perennial I always remember because I always think, okay, that's a permanent. It'll last in the garden, whereas annuals, they die off every year. The leaves are interesting too. I just love the leaves. And now I'm drawing the hummingbird. I just love hummingbirds. I don't see them often, and when I do, it just makes my day. I just think they're so beautiful, but they're so fast. We're going to be using number 4, number 2 round. Those are my smaller ones, and I might use the number 8, but I'm not sure at this point. I kind of want to keep my brushes on the smaller end this time. So now this flower here, what we're going to do is we're going to make it as light as we can because we want this one to appear in the background. So I'm putting my water in. When you put water in, it will keep your paint, light. And I'm not picking up too much paint either, just to make sure that it does stay light. And I loved using that green gold. It's just such a beautiful color. I put it with that Prussian blue. But those leaves, I put in a lot of water with those colors too. Getting those buds in. And I didn't want to put a lot of detail in the buds at this point. I just wanted to get a little color in there. And then you'll see me going back in those buds and you know, putting the lines where like they folded over where I could see. And I really liked the way my brush was working, so I'm glad that I chose the smaller brushes for this project. And what I did is I pushed my paint around, and where there was light next to it I put dark, and where there was dark I made sure that I put the light just to have contrast. And when I painted this also, now delphinium have a little white in the middle, so I didn't want to lose that. So I painted it here and there blue, but I kept some of the white in the middle. It's like they're like little white petals. I'm not really sure what you call them, but and then I went back and put another glaze on it here and there if I thought it needed it. But those pretty colors were so beautiful to work with. Viridian Hue and phthalo blue mix. It makes a real pretty blue. And I felt that I didn't have to add any other darker color, but I just left out some of the water when I wanted to make it darker. And so that worked out real well. But I started to tell you, I just love it when I see a hummingbird. It makes my day because I very rarely see one. I don't know about your yard, but I have a I remember, you know, it reminded me, my girlfriend came to visit me one time, and she was leaving the house after our visit, and we talk a lot together. You know, you have one of those friends, you talk and you laugh a lot. So we were on the, we stepped down off the porch, and she had a beautiful, she was wearing a beautiful flower design on her shirt, and a hummingbird came right up to her shirt and kind of was buzzing around, and we just laughed like crazy. And I remember that. I'll have to ask her to, you know, watch this so she'll remember it too. It was years ago. It was so funny. Now, I was just reading also that delphiniums are poisonous. So, you know, some flowers you got to watch, like around dogs. And so, but I've been pressing them since 1995. So, so they're okay for me. I mean, I didn't do anything crazy with them. Just pressed them and used them. They're just beautiful flowers. But some flowers you gotta watch, you know, around your pets, and actually, you know, don't like lick them and put them in your mouth or something, you know. So now I'm erasing with my eraser to make sure that I get the pencil lines off. So because I want that as light as I can, just to make it look like it's in the distance, and usually not that fussy with my pencil lines, but I wanted to erase those, make it real light. And those erasers, they're high polymer by Pentel. They work really well. I'm using my credit card there to get the veins in, and I'm making that also light and dark here and there. I'm using my Kleenex once in a while to get it lighter a little bit. And that's that green gold by Winsor Newton and the Prussian blue mix by M. Graham. They're very interesting leaves. The delphinium have very interesting leaves. And here and there they are got a little darker. And that's what I want. I like variation in my leaves when I paint, you know, because the light shines on them. You can maybe picture the sun shining on them. So they're lighter here and there. And nature, you know, things in nature aren't perfect anyway. You know, they don't look perfect. I'm showing you, I go back and forth with my number 2 brush and my number 4 brush. And that looks like my number 2 there. Excuse me. And what I do later, you'll see me going back. I thought that the stem could be a little thicker. So I go back and I make that stem thicker. And I have tape around my painting, but I didn't put a wash in. I figured I was going to wait because I kind of wanted not to. And then I thought, well, if you know I make a mess that I can't clean up, you know, in the background there, I was going to put some kind of wash in or splatters or something. But and you know, my masking tape there, you know how I usually put my wash in. I very rarely don't put a wash in when I paint. I do like color in the background, but this one I just wanted, you know, just my subjects to stand out, and I ended up not getting any mess, and so you'll see me just taking the tape off without putting a wash in, which I was kind of glad about. Just something different. And now I'm starting the beak on the hummingbird. Putting some water in because I wanted to drop some color in. Didn't want to create too many hard edges. There were a few hard edges that I wanted to have because, you know, the body of the bird, you know, you need to get some kind of structure in the bird. But generally in this bird, you know, I had a lot of detail, so I wanted to get that in eventually. But just dropping some color in. And so, you know, when I didn't want to have the structure in the bird, I painted those parts. Made sure I painted those parts so that the water would just flow, you know, on the bird there. And you see your paint will just go where the water is. I didn't put any water by the eye, in the eye, so it didn't go on there. You don't have to worry about that. And this bird had quite a bit of shadowing and black on it. I don't know if it was the photographer when he took the picture that made it that way, but I painted just the way I saw it. Now, my reference is from a site called Pixabay. And they're photographers that take beautiful pictures, and they allow artists to paint their pictures royalty free. So thank you very much for all you photographers that do that. I so much appreciate that. And because I don't think I could take a good picture of a hummingbird because they are very fast. So now I'm putting more of the detail that I saw in the photo. And I'm trying it with a liner brush, thinking that maybe that was better, but it didn't work. So I kept with my number 2 and my number 4 round. I'm just darkening the areas where I started. And putting another wash on the on everything, actually. And there you go, putting that eye on. Now, if I would do this again, I think I would make the head a little bit more oval, and I would probably not make it as round in the front. I would just go straight down with the breast of the bird there, and so, you know, so like I say, this is my first hummingbird, and I think it's turning out pretty nicely. I'm enjoying painting it. It was the colors are beautiful. You know, just thinking about hummingbirds and delphiniums, and I just really enjoyed painting this painting. It just makes me very happy. And and I think I got the feet. I don't know if you call them feet in birds. I guess you do. But I think I got the feet a little too big. I think, you know, next time when I paint it, you know, there's always a next time. I won't make them so big. Now, there was a lot of detail in that around the head area and the chest area there too. So, wanting to put that in. And I'm saving that one spot there for the eyeshadow that I'm going to be using. You're going to see me putting that in. That I wanted to do that, but once you put that eyeshadow in, it becomes a mixed media painting. If you don't want your watercolor painting to be, you know, mixed media, then in this case I didn't mind, because we're going to be printing these cards actually. And it's going to be interesting to see if that shimmering, that shimmer eyeshadow stuff actually does show up in the printing. And there I am making that stem thicker. I thought it would have more substance. Look like it wouldn't just fall over. So there is that LA colors. And I'm showing you that it should say, if you use this mica, have mica in it, the shine. And so I'm putting it on some tile. And I got this at the dollar store. And then what you do is you put your vegetable glycerin, a drop of vegetable glycerin. And what that does, it will help it adhere to the paper. And I got that at the health food store. I use that once in a while, and you know, in the craft room in my art studio. And I'm just mixing it up with a toothpick. And I'm going to be using an acrylic brush. I didn't want to use any of my watercolor brushes to use this. And they're from Royal Langnickel. And they're wonderful brushes. You can get them in the children's department, and they work wonderfully. I've worked with them many projects. And I'm trying to show you the shimmer that I'm seeing when I'm painting it. It's just beautiful, really. So pretty. I don't know if you, there you go, you can see a little bit of it. So, and I'm finished, and I think it turned out really pretty. I just really love it. For my first hummingbird. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please share it with a friend. Until next time, happy creating.